Hello, hello, hello. It's Anne Lewis, your independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, based on the Sunshine Coast here in Queensland, Australia. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about Stampin' Write Markers. Now, you don't see me use them very often, and it's because I have a full set of blends, I have a full set of ink pads, but every now and then I go to them. They are perfect when you're starting out because they're such a reasonable priced item, and on most occasions they can actually stand in instead of ink pads. You still want some ink pads, but they will actually help you cover. So let's just see. Hi Glenda, how are you? Now, but I wanted to show you how much you can actually do with Stampin' Write Markers, because they're kind of that hidden thing, and we've got every colour comes in a Stampin' Write marker. So let's get started. Now I'm going to, I've got new lighting, so let's see how the new lighting goes. So leave a comment to see if you can actually tell the difference, but I've just got to turn the other light on because it's the one that does the desk. Let's hope it works. Oh, I think it does work. Now, the light is, because I'm using the glass mat. Actually, I did want to get some grit paper, and I forgot to get that. We've just had the hugest storm hit here. And all my gutters overflowed. We had a few issues. Here we go. That will look a little better. If you can see and hear me, let me know. Oh, sorry. This is me sliding on my chair. Because it was a big storm, my crafting companion has gone and hidden underneath the bed. Now, so I've got 10 different ways. Got all this stuff set out here. 10 different ways of using the Stampin' Write markers. Now, some of them are being used. Oh, I'm going to show you my face. I know I'm missing my tooth. I've got to wait till the bone heals. So I'm sorry about that. Hello, Glenda. So now you can see me. What was I going to say? Can't remember now. However, the some of the techniques I'm going to show you tonight are going to be ones where you use markers instead of ink pads or blends, etc. And some are peculiar to Stampin' Write markers. And I think I'll probably start with a couple of those. So 10 all up. So let's see. If you're watching, leave a comment, whether you're watching on replay, because I always check the comments even for replays. If you've got any questions, ask them away. If you've got if you've never seen whatever technique I'm about to show you, or it's a favourite, leave a comment. Let me know how you use your Stampin' Write markers. They've been around forever, not forever, but for a fair while. So let's throw you back down to my desk. And can you tell the difference in the light or not really? Let me know. Leave a comment, because as you know, my lighting broke I think 2 weeks ago. So I've been kind of doing this a little in the dark. Anyway, technique number 1. And I'm going to use, I'm going to walk you through Stampin' Write marker. Now, this is one of the new ones, and I want to show you the difference. Oh, have I got an old one here? This one might be an old one. Difference between the new ones that have just been released. Oh, that's a new one. This one's, I think, an old one. Yep. I know. So they both look the same. Where the thick line is at the bottom is where the brush tip is, as you can see. And this end is like a pen end. just show you up here. Let's see if it so you can see that. I'm just not sure. There, that's the focus. So that's the old tip, and this is the new tip. And I've got to say, after playing with these tonight, the new tip is so much better. So this is a felt tip, and this is like a plastic tip. The felt tip, the new tip, which you would get if you ordered Stampin' Write markers now, is so much better than the old ones. I hadn't even really noticed that I had a problem with the old ones until I tried how good the new ones are. Now, Marianne, who just lives down the road, says she can hear me, see me through the rain, and she says it's light, white, and bright. Well, that's what I want to know. We have had a cracker of a storm here, and I also had a bit of an accident. As I'm racing out to shut some windows, I dropped a really big, heavy metal water bottle on my foot, and one of my toes looks like it's been a little smashed. I will have a look at that once I finish this. Radio, so let's get started. I want to show you, so the brush tip. Now, one of the things you can do, if I could get the lid off, with the brush tip, and I'm just, let's use some nice paper. Have I got some? Oh no, here's a little scrap of paper. You know me, I've got scraps everywhere. Is you can actually use this for calligraphy. So see how it gets that nice, fine. I can't do calligraphy. Let's try and do that a little different. Now I've got it on the edge. But if you were good at calligraphy, you could use these. As you see, I'm not very good. Yeah, Glenda, I was sitting before I went live with it sitting on an ice pack in the hope that somehow it was going to turn into something that's not going to require a visit to the GP. Ideo. Now, the next one. So number 1 is calligraphy. These are all in the description. Now, number 2 is marker direct to stamp. So this time I'm going to be using the beautiful butterfly stamp set. Now, got to be honest, I still use this technique using Stampin' Write markers directly onto the stamp set, but I would prefer to use it on a red rubber one. I've got to be honest with that. However, it suited me because this one was going to look prettier to actually try it. I've just got some scrap pieces of paper here to actually use a photopolymer one. Still stamps well, just the red rubber holds the ink a little better in my view. So I'm going to do this. I've got all my colours written out. Oh, I've got to tell you about this stamp set. This is one of the new stamp sets that has been added to the Sale-a-Bration list. So you can get this stamp set for free if you place a $100 order. You can select this one. There's a whole lot of other things you can select as well. But this is still in the catalogue, and I love it. I love the sentiments. I love the butterflies. It comes with dies. The dies are not included. However, this stamp set is gorgeous. So let's use it for to apply, how did I describe it? Marker direct to the stamp. And I'm going to use Petunia Pop. I'm going to be using Highland Heather. I've got them all sitting here. And I've got some Calypso Coral, which I've already got here. So you can see the detail on here. Let's put this over here. Now, there's no right or wrong with this. There's no great art, because you know me, don't have any art. Well, I've got a lot of creative ability, I think, anyway. They're going to ask me. But I'm not an artist by any stretch, and you hear me talk about that every time I go and do some colouring. However, as you know, Stampin' Up do make it pretty easy. So now I'm just doing, so this is a ridge stamp, and so all I'm putting it on is, you can see I'm not holding it up like this, so I'm not ruining the point. I'm just using the side of it. There's no right or wrong where I actually colour on this. It's really, really simple. This is just a way of getting a couple of different colours. Now, the actual body, I've been using this stamp lately, and I've just now rolling with, I'm going to call this the body. I could do it in black, but I decided to do Calypso Coral. I don't know, 5 seconds that's going to take. I'm going to huff on it. Now this, my Calypso Coral, I haven't used this particular stamp much. I've used the big one and some of the others. So let's just huff on it and stamp it down. And I'll get that out of the way because I can see. And you can see how now I've got all those different colours on it and how simple a technique was that. So anybody could do this, and I just used 3 markers. I could have used 2, and I just went with some markers that I like. Now, I've got to say that a little bit in that centre didn't cover in as much as I like, so I'm just going to go back over that. That's not a problem. Righto. So there we go. So it's technique number 2. Any of our stamps, you can do something like that. You can do it with leaves, flowers, so many ideas. Now, the next one is colouring sentiment with multiple colours. Now, I could have used a stamped image that needed to be filled in, and but I've used one of the what's it called? Greetings for All ephemera. Now, you've seen me use this every week for 3 weeks. Have you guessed that I really, really like it? It actually comes with some of these that you can colour in if you wish. You don't have to, but I like them coloured in. And there you can see I've done this in Australian colours, the green and gold. So how gorgeous is that? I've got a new, everything's new, new stand hold the phone as well. Anyway, so let me show you really simply. Now, this is the one I've got this time. It's on Hello. I've got a coloured piece of, what have I got? All the way over here. I don't, just you might be able to see it a little easier if I put this there. Yeah, I think you can. Now, what I would do is grab, see, I picked a really quick one here, is I would grab a Post-it note, I was having trouble there, and just run it across like that, so halfway. And this time I'm going to be doing it, I'm changing my colours up. I'm going to be doing this in Lemon Lime and Lemon Lolly and Lemon Lime Twist. 2 of my favourite colours. Now I'm going to put the dark on the bottom. Now these are new stamping blends, so it's really easy. Not stamping blends, Stampin' Write Markers. You can see there's no great skill in this. Let's take that off. So that's the Lemon Lime Twist, and then this is the Hello Lemon, what is it? Lemon Lolly. There's no great skill. Now, I could do this with blends as well. And if I did it with blends, I could actually do a little bit of blending. And I'll show you what this looks like up a little close. Whoops. So this is not a great colour variant, but it adds a little bit of bling. And I like that. So that's number 3. Now, number 4 is colouring the stamped image. Now, I've got 2 to do here. So my first one, let's do can I say the harder one? I'm going to be using Stays On. You never see me use Stays On because I hate cleaning the stamps because I'm a little lazy. However, tonight, because I'm using watercolouring and a whole lot of other things, I definitely thought it was going to be a lot easier to use Stays On. Now, this Stays On also gives a blacker image if you're not familiar with it, and if you watch me you won't see it very often. So I'm just going to stamp this down. Now this is from, I'll show you the stamp set. It's one of my favourite stamp sets out of the annual catalogue. Did it walk? It's walked. It's the Wintry Tops one. I don't have it here, but that's okay. Now you can see it's got a lot of little it's got green leaves, it's got some berries. So I didn't grab these because I didn't do a sample of this. So I'm going to grab some real red, and I'm going to do olive, and I'm going to grab some mossy meadow. I don't know which ones, if any of those, I'm going to use. Whoops. But I wanted to show you how quick and easy it is to colour these. Now, let's be honest, if I was doing this and it wasn't live, I would be taking a little bit more time. But, whoops, that's a little too. So I'll use the So you can see it's really simple to use these. Now I'm just using the brush tip, which does get a fair bit done. Now there is I suppose a highlighter, which I could do in a slightly different colour. You're going to see how easy these are. Mine are really old, my Stampin' Write markers. They've been around probably, they've been as long as I've been a demonstrator. That's how long I've had them. And they're still going. They may dry out, but they are refillable, which is good to know. Now, you know me, I don't have any great colouring skills, so I just go through, and if I leave a little bit of white, that never worries me because it adds a little bit of. Now let's go through and you'll see. Now Stampin' Write markers are quite intense in colour. You can see how quick this is. If you wanted to take a little more time, you could. Now, I always try and follow the design. So I'll turn my paper around. This is one of my favourite images, actually. I've used it so much. I mean, it's a little Christmassy. Finish this up. Finish off a couple. As I said, I always have a little bit of white left, and I don't mind that. It kind of like turns into a sketch. Let's find that balance. So I've been asked, how do you refill your markers? I can show you. So that's the just filling colouring in a stamp set, and perfect if you don't have blends, perfect if you don't have all the colours. That's why the Stampin' Write markers are fabulous, because you get 4 sets. You get 12 colours in 4 sets, and I think I'm not sure of the price. I mean, they're free. 2 packs are free with the special offer to become a demonstrator, but I think they're $65, but I'm not sure. I should look that up. Anyway, so blender. where's one of my, have I got a, I don't know, I'm just pulling out my, I don't know. Now I actually, so see how that, did you see how that just pulled out? And then you can just pour some refill down that. Go from your brush tip. And then all you have to do is push this straight back. Probably needed to be a little gentler than I was with those things. So that's how you can refill your markers. So you need some refills. I'll just show you what a refill ink refill looks like in case you're not used to it. This is one of the many reasons. So that's what a little bottle of ink refill looks like. I use it for techniques, but it's great to re-ink your ink pads because they do need re-inking, and also if these run out as well. So hopefully that's helped you, Glenda. Anyway, so next one. Oh, I've got another one here. So this time I'm going to be using Smoky Slate. I think that's Smoky Slate. And I'm going to be using this cute, you're seeing all my cute stamps tonight, Friendly Seagulls. And this Stampin' Write markers are perfect for this. Now I'm going to shorten this to markers because otherwise I'm going to go a little insane. Here's my Stays On. You can see how beautiful and black that image is. Does stick, if you heard that. It does have a tendency to stick. Now this is, I mean, we're not doing anything special here. I'm just going to add a little grey or Smoky Slate with a brush tip. Just add a little highlight. And then, of course, I'm going to have an orange beak. And that's how these come alive. Stays On will not. And obviously some orange feet. I could have used pumpkin pie as well, but I have these out. So all of a sudden, he's come to life, hasn't he? So there's another one. So that's colouring in a line stamp. Next one is watercolouring. So I'm going to be using, what am I going to be using? Got to think about this one. I'm going to be, oh, I know what I'm doing here. I nearly forgot. So I'm going to show you how I did this one. I'm going to clean up my desk a little bit. So I'm going to get rid of my grid paper. So I want my glass mat for this. Right, so let's grab this is my stamp that I'm going to be using, and it's from Inspirational Sketches. Another one that I really, really like. Oh, I've got it stamped here. So again, I'm going to stamp it in Stays On. And this is one of those, because not everybody is lucky like me and have every colour. I know how lucky I am. And so if you've got the markers supplementing your ink pads, you can do this. So all I'm going to do is stamp this down. Oh, I've got him on a bit crooked, but that's okay. There we go. Now I'm going to grab that's my thin one. I think this is my thicker one. Right, I'm going to make some space here. Slide over. Now I'm going to be doing the top of my mushroom. Don't worry about my colour coordination here. Mine is a very pink mushroom. So I'm just going to draw some here on my glass mat. If you don't have a glass mat, do you have a Stamparatus? You can draw on your Stamparatus plates. And if you don't have a Stamparatus plates, another perfect solution is your acrylic blocks. So So I've got a water painter here. I meant to bring some, I just want a little bit of water coming through. Don't want too much water. You didn't see that. I forgot to bring some paper with me. So look how easy this is. So I don't want it too dark. I'm using watercolor paper to make this easy for me. See how quick this goes? No, I keep saying to you, you don't have to be an artist to make nice cards. So all I'm doing is where I rubbed it, I've added a little bit of water and then applying it here. I can go back if I wanted to and make this a little darker. Now let's just say I wanted it, don't know, is this my bubble bath? It is. Oops, that's not the end I want. Always use your brush tip and over the side. Now, just going to add a little bit of different colours, not different colour, a little darker. Just Stampin' Up has already helped me where that should be. I wish I had I've got a cloth here somewhere. Now, it's on the floor. Wait a minute. So I'm going to clean that off. Now I've got a cleaning cloth, but that I wanted to get all the water off. Now all I did then was underneath I added some crumb cake, I think. Let's just do crumb cake, it'll work. So you can see, just adding a little bit of crumb cake there. I've cleaned my brush when you weren't looking, and then I'm just going to go under here. So you can see how easy, I'm just doing this really quick, so you can see how easy it is and how the markers can just supplement what ink pads you don't have. And you can't do this with stamping blends. So there you go. Oh, wait a minute. Let's just, I've got to find a purpose for all these little images that I've done. Righto, so there you go. So how pretty is that? I'll show you what it looks like up close. So how easy was that? So that's using it for watercolor. Now my next one is, rightio, this one. So we're going to apply marker directly to the block, and then we're going to, I should have done this one early actually, but my colours that I'm going to be using for this are Lemon Lolly. You've guessed that I like my Lemon Lolly. There's my Lemon Lolly. I'm going to be using Lemon Lime Twist, my other favourite, and I've got one of the new in colours, Summer Splash. Right. Now you can use any size block. This is just a simple way of doing it. Remember, you're just using the brush tip. This is dry at this stage. I'm just colouring it in, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Doesn't matter if you don't get it perfect. You want to overlap it a little bit, and you want colours that aren't going to turn muddy when you add water. Righto, here we go. Then I'm going, this is testing my toe a little bit. I'm going to grab my spritzer. I'm going to grab my cleaning cloth because I'm going to need it, because I'll spray water everywhere. So just a light spray. You don't want too much water because I'm not using watercolor paper on this. But if I was going to use lots of water, actually I might use some watercolor paper. That's just, I've just turned this over. So it'll work on normal paper as well, just our basic white. But This will make it a little quicker so I don't have to let it dry. So I probably could have spritzed that a little more, which I can still do. There's no... So there we go. So I'm going to let that dry. And then I'm going to use it. I'm going to stamp over it. And you'll see, such a simple technique. It took 2 seconds. And I love those colours. And so you get that nice bleeding as well. And because it's on watercolour paper, that should soak in with a bit of luck. And I didn't bring any paper towel, which I'd normally take any excess water off, but that's okay. So I'm going to leave that sit and dry whilst I move on to the next one. What's the next one? Direct to blending brush. So you can actually put it straight on a blending brush. And then, where's my little scrap piece of paper? So now I would always go off on the glass because that takes away any rough edges. Now I'm using Lost Lagoon this time. So this will be probably got a little bit too much colour. You do need to make it, I think, a little even. So you know me, I always recommend that we put it off here first. It gets rid of any ugly bits. And then I can come over here and build colour. So, don't have an ink colour, but you've got Stampin' Write Markers. Here's a way of just doing some background. And it just works the same as ink. Righto. So I've got all that off. Clean up my mat. So that's a technique that you can use if you don't have an ink pad and you need to add a background. Didn't expect that with the blending brush. And it just washes off as if it was an ink. Now, one of the things that I didn't show you, don't think this is dry yet. It's getting there. One of the things I didn't show you is, let's do it with this stamp set here. I've never used this. So what does it say? I love you. This is something that only Stampin' Write Markers will work with. Now I haven't stamped with this before, so I might just, there's a scrap piece of paper. Let's just go back to this. This is how I would, so it's a brand new stamp set, never stamped. Let's just, oh no, red, let's do it with, don't worry what I'm doing at the moment. I'm just taking off if there's any, I always add some ink. So I'm just treating it like this. Don't worry what I'm doing. And then I'm going to clean it. If there's any like oil, machine oil or anything. And then this should make it. I should be able to use this now. So now I'm going to be using the Bubble Bath and the Summer Splash. Don't ask me how these turn out. But, so you can see, I'm hoping, well, if you can see here, is the more is in capital letters. So I'm going to do that in a different colour. This is the bubble bar. So I'm not colouring anything else. I'm not colouring the word more. I'm doing the other letters. I'm making sure there's plenty on it. And then the more is going to be in the Summer Splash, and it's going to really pop. And of course, it might have taken me a couple of minutes to do this. Now, I would normally actually clean this a few times, but let's see how this turns out. I think it'll be pretty. Oh, I shouldn't have pressed that hard. But anyway, yeah, I pressed a little hard. But you can see how the more will pop. Now, they're not colours I would normally do, but you get the idea. That's how you can add colour to a sentiment block. So you can pick out one word, highlight that one word, and certainly I wouldn't do bubble bath, but it's one of my favourite colours, so I keep going to it. Ideos. So direct to the blending brush I've done. You've seen the one word or a couple of words on a sentiment. Now, one of the other ones, I don't know, I don't know that this is dry yet. Don't think that helps, but I'll leave that there. Have I got any leaves here? I know. So I've got a leaf stamp here. I haven't even backed this. You're now seeing some of the stamps I haven't used lately. Anyway, that's okay. I'll just take the back off. I'll add the sticker later. Now, I want to colour this, but I want to add a little bit of texture to it. So I've got my mossy meadow and I've got an old olive here. So this is called thumping. You can see how quick and easy it is to colour stamps, to actually stamp them. Now, that's all done. That's how quick that was to ink up. So it doesn't take a lot of time. So we're going to turn this over. Now, this is not thumping. I'm just showing you what it would look like. So that's ordinary, right? Lovely stamp set, really nice and clear, even though I did it in just using markers. Now, let's redo it. I think I just did this the wrong way, but anyway, you'll get the idea. Now, thumping means you're adding some colour in other places. Now, there's lots of different ways you can thump. You can see I'm not really thumping, I'm tapping, but it's called thumping, the technique. Now, if I had done it light with the dark, you would actually see this come through a little better. Yeah, I did the dark first, so that lighter colour is not going to come through. But what happens when you thump is that colour would have gone on here and changed the colour a little bit. So it adds a little bit of texture. So have a play with it. Remember, I've got 10 techniques. These are ones you sit down and have a play with to see. Now, I've still got to come back to this one. I'm letting this dry. You can see what's happening here. Kind of cute. It was so simple, and I could do that whatever size I wanted. Now, this time I am using one of my favourite stamps. You've seen it about 4 weeks in a row, Ocean Friends, and I'm using this lobster here, or crayfish. What do you fellas call it? Now, I'm going to do emboss resist, which I can still do with this technique. I'm not sure what colours I'm going to do. Who knows? I'm not sure whether you know what emboss resist is, but if you don't, I have embossed. So with white embossing powder, now you can see it. That lobster, let's call it a lobster. And so this is embossing powder that I've heated, and it's melted, and now it's like a plastic coating. And you'll see what happens if you're not used to emboss resist, even though it's probably one of our most popular techniques ever. It's the wow. So I'm just going to be doing this. Now, I might do this. I might have this cut out to shape or something. Who knows? I don't know. So that's the Summer Splash. I'm going to do some Night of Navy down the bottom here. I didn't trial this beforehand, as you can see. That's okay. So I want this just to have a little... Now, remember, I wouldn't leave it sitting like that. I cut it to shape or do different shadings, etc. But now all I'm getting is a baby wipe and wiping that off. And you can see how now that lobster absolutely pops. And so I would cut it out or something like that. Who knows what design I would do. But simple technique and just using Stampin' Write markers. I know. So my last one, oh, that was my last one. I've done the thumping, so I better go back to this. I'm not sure this is dry enough, but that's okay. This is just finishing off this project. So if it was me and I had done a watercolour direct to a block, I would then grab my Stays-On. Whoops, let's not put that there. This is how you get ink all over you. I would get a line stamp like this. Now this is the Spotlight on Nature, which has been the most popular bundle in the annual catalogue. Still is the most. So let's just put it here. Now it comes with a set of dies. It doesn't cut out this image. It comes with these gorgeous circle dies, and you see that me use them a fair bit. There we go. So now I'll just show you, because you may not be able to picture what I would do with this. So I would just, as I said, normally I wouldn't do this on watercolour paper, but I needed this to dry quickly. Oops, didn't cut that very well. So just think I'd cut this to a standard card base like that. And then I'd put some coordinating cardstock around it, so probably in the Summer Splash I'd try it and probably put it on a black card base. So, and then I'd add, because this actually has to, wherever that stamp set is, here it is, has Dear Friend and Thanks, and you know how many thank you cards I do, so I'd probably stamp one of those on. So there's really 10 quick and easy ways of using our Stampin' Write markers. And as you saw, I just grabbed colours. I didn't spend a lot of time matching. You can use any of our stamp sets, but as I said, the red rubber ones do work a little better. Now I'll bring back my other couple of samples so you're reminded of what I did. Oops, they're hiding. So I did just the colouring in of a stamp. I did a little bit of, just a little highlights to make the stamp pop. I did markers directly to the stamp. I used 2 different colours on my stamp set for a sentiment. And this one was supposed to be thumping, but I went the wrong colours, but you'll get the idea. Have a play with it. If I had used dark colour and even a lighter than the Old Olive, you would see that texture. You saw I've done an embossed resist. I actually really like this. I might have to redo that as a on a card. And I did the 2-tone on a sentiment from the All Greetings, I think they are. What are they called? Greetings for All ephemera pack, which they can be found because they're kind of hidden a little bit in the catalogue. They can be found because you kind of got to look for them right here. So they're on the bottom of page 13. Love, love, love these. And I'm a stamper and I like using them, especially when I'm in a little bit of a rush. Now, the only other thing I need to tell you, I've told you that these are refillable. I've told you they work best on red rubber, but you've seen me use them on the photopolymer stamp sets as well. I would use them with stays on. And I always, now you might see that I have these just in a little jar. That's just for whilst I'm working. All my Stampin' Write markers are stored horizontally. If I store them like that, the ink will run out. Well, not run out, will run to one end, and one end will actually be dry. So you've now got, as I said, in the description for the video on both YouTube and Facebook, you've got the 10 lists. You've got what I used, and you can actually then go back to this video and just have a fun. I mean, that took probably about 40 minutes. So they were all quick and easy techniques, but making the most of your markers, which, as I said, we don't use them because we've got a few. Well, if you're like me, you have a big stash, you've got lots of choices, and it's been fun going back to the markers to have a little play with them. So I may post some of these cards so you can actually see what I've done with them. I love this. This is kind of winning me. I think I'm going to have to do a project with that. And I think I'll definitely do a project with Oh Happy Day. This one will turn up. I'll probably cut that a little bit different size than what I need, but I'll work around that. So now I've got 3 events coming up, and I've still got some vacancies in all 3. On Sunday the 23rd, I have an all-day exclusive creative class for stampers. It's got a 3D project, which I think you're going to love. It also has this really nifty, I'm going to show everybody how to make a 6x6 paper storage. This takes about 5 secs. Right, I lie, maybe about 6 minutes. I've got some fancy fold cards. We're going to do some watercolouring. So it's going to be a fun day full of techniques, and you'll walk away with a whole lot of different techniques to try on your own projects. And then on the 8th and the 9th of March, we're doing the Charity Day for Meals on Wheels, Easter theme. I need a few more people to help out so we can make lots of cards for our local Meals on Wheels. Thanks, everybody. I really enjoyed this. Let me know what your favourite technique was, because I may actually add that to a class or something, which one you liked, which one you hadn't heard of before, or which is your favourite one as well. So thanks, everybody. It's been great catching up with you, and the storm has finally gone. I can go and get Kiko out from underneath the bed, and I will see you next week for another live online class where I share my knowledge, skills and ability with you. Thanks, everybody.